welcome to my channel, and if you're new, welcome for the first time. On this channel we do a lot of tutorial videos with different aerial apparatuses, and we also do a lot of videos where I answer your questions about being an aerialist, about equipment, about good practices, about training. And today we're going to do a video that I am very excited for because it is by far the most requested topic that I get from you guys. It is how to set up your aerial hoop for the first time. So maybe you're someone who has trained in a studio for a while, or maybe you're kind of a newbie and you want to just learn how to select your equipment, how to set it up, and how to train at home. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to cover everything you need to know to get started with your own rig. And I'm very excited for this video for another reason, because I have a new toy. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. So this really great company called Play Juggling, that's a flow arts based company. Their base is in juggling and circus equipment, and they also have a lot of great aerial equipment. And they contacted me and asked me to try out their aerial hoop setup. So they have sent me a hoop. I'm going to test it out, and I'm very excited because this is a type of hoop that I actually don't own. I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity to both tell you guys how to get started, walk you through a setup from the moment you receive your equipment, and also test out their hoop and see what I think. I also told them to surprise me with the color of tape, so we don't know what color she's going to be. I'm very excited for that as well because they had some really cool colors of tape. But first, before we dive into the good part, I want to talk first about how to select the size of your hoop. Oh, I also want to say, just before we get started, disclaimer, you should always, if you possibly can, start by taking class. I know it's very tempting to set up a rig at home and then just copy things you see on Instagram or tutorials online. I know, but it is very important to learn techniques and to get a basis with aerial of any sort, especially hoop, with a teacher that can see and correct specifically what you are doing. All right, I've got my hoop, I've got my chair and my measuring tape, and apparently I've lost the ability to speak because we're going to talk about hoop sizing. So before I explain what the chair is for, let's repeat the first golden rule of hoop sizing. And I will say it again and again until I'm blue in the face, because it is so important that hoop sizing is not nearly as important as most people think it is. Yes, it is great when you have a hoop that is a harmonious size to your body. However, I'm a giant human. I am 5'10", I'm 1.78 meters tall. I have used friends' hoops of friends that are solidly this much shorter than me. I have used hoops at studios where I'm teaching that are for small people. You can use a hoop that is vastly different sized than you. There's occasionally one or two moves that are tricky or not compatible with using a hoop that is much too small or much too big with you. But very rarely when I see someone having an issue is it because the hoop's the wrong size. Now, having said that, I will talk about now how to find a hoop that is the right size for you. So we're sitting on a chair. Any chair will do. I've got my handy dandy measuring tape, and I'm going to measure from the seat of the chair, aka my bum, to the top of my head. It doesn't have to be exact, just try to get as close as you can. For me, that is 90 centimeters. So from that 90 centimeters, I'm going to add on 10 centimeters. I generally use a 100 centimeter diameter hoop, so 90 plus 10, 100. That's my rule of thumb. If you're choosing a hoop to order, it's good to know what size to order. If you're in a studio and you're thinking, no, this doesn't work because the hoop's the wrong size, check what you're doing before you give up on the size of the hoop you're using. It is finally the moment I've been waiting for. I'm so excited to open this box because it's been sitting in the corner of my room for several days. I just haven't had a day that was sunny enough outside to film this video and have it look nice. And I can't wait. I can't wait. Let's get in. I will say that this package came remarkably fast. In fact, it came so fast that I was away on a contract doing a circus when it came, and I had to request the shipping agent to hold it several days until I got home. So yeah, 10 points for shipping. It is also well taped. No, don't cut towards your hands. No, we're smarter than that. Oh yeah. Okay. Ha ha! Yes. Here we go. Oh ho ho! Hello, hello, hello. There's no place for this. Yes. Okay. So my first impression with this hoop is she's a 95 centimeter, by the way. I already have several 100 centimeters, so I thought it'd be good to mix things up and get myself a 95. She is a hollow tube hoop. There's two varieties of hoop. There's hollow and there is solid. A hollow hoop is obviously going to be a little bit lighter. It's great if you need to transport a hoop, for example, back and forth to your studio or to gigs. And it's just a really good option for that. A solid hoop is obviously going to be heavier, harder to transport, but it keeps it spin for longer. This one is hollow, but still has a nice heft to it. So I think she is going to spin pretty well, even though she isn't as heavy as a solid hoop. So that is nice. My other impression is that she seems to have pretty good grip to her. So another thing you're going to need to decide when you're buying your own hoop is if you want to tape your hoop or if you want to leave it a bare metal. This depends on what you're going to be using your hoop for. If you're using your hoop for a lot of really dynamic-y tricks, or if you're using hoops for a lot of hangs, for example, heel hangs, foot hangs, neck hangs, I like to just glue myself to that hoop. I want as much tape, as sticky as possible. I want rosin on my hands, I want rosin on my neck, I want rosin on my heels. I just want to be as sticky as possible. By the way, if you're a newbie and you don't know what rosin is that powder that you'll see people putting on, people putting on their hands. It's the same thing that ballerinas use on their point shoes. It's or for example, violinists use it on their violin bows. It just gives a little bit of a stick to your hands. You can get it from a lot of aerial retailers online, or you can get it from a dance shop because they use it for point shoes, like I said. You need to decide if you want that sticky, sticky, sticky goodness of the tape, or if you want a smoother, nicer to your skin metal finish on your hoop. That's great if you're doing a lot of training on a very regular basis. For example, when I teach workshops that are multiple days, we make sure to have hoops that are metal so that students who are really struggling with training multiple hours per day have something a little nicer to their skin to just help them out. Or if you're doing a lot of like rolls and things where your skin is grading over the hoop, you might want to keep it in a metal finish because that's just going to be kinder and have less friction burns against your skin. The other things they sent me were a span set. If you're a newbie, let's explain what a span set is. Span set is the strap that your hoop hangs from. This one. There we go. My very favorite is this type of span set, which is a loop nylon span set. It's got a nylon coat over a stronger interior. They are nice to your hands. They don't burn your hands as much as some other types of span sets. And they're very, very easy to put on your hoop. If you only have a hoop and a span set available to you, the easiest thing to do in the world is just to choke it on. We call it choking, where I put one little end of the span set over the hoop, and then I'm going to thread through my longer end and it's choked on. That's how I hang my hoop a lot of the time. Almost always I hang my hoop just like this. It's easy, it's fast, it's reliable, it's choked on there. I will just say, you always want to attach your span set to your hoop at the bottom and to your swivel and carabiners. In other words, these guys at the top. Why is that? This is my swivel. It's the thing that lets me turn on my hoop, and I want it to be at the top of my span set because this way, this whole business is turning, always. This is, span set is turning with the hoop, it's turning with this carabiner, and the swivel's at the top, letting it all turn together. If I were to reverse that, if I were to have my span set, and then my swivel and carabiners at the bottom, and hook onto my hoop like that, then I have problems because as soon as I put my hand up here, it stops my spin. So I can't use any of this span set in any of my tricks. It's just not a great setup. As soon as I see someone with that setup, I'm like, let's not do that. That is a bad plan. So don't fall into the trap. Keep your spin, keep your swivel at the top. I also love these span sets because you can use them on your own, and I'll do a video explaining this someday also. You can use them on their own to be loop straps. So honestly, you get two long span sets like this, and you get a little bit of hardware, what's called a spreader plate, and they can be their own apparatus. I perform on two span sets like this to use as loop straps. It's one of my most requested acts, and it's so easy and so cheap to buy. So I'll talk about that in a future video and demonstrate that a little bit. There's one more toy in this package, and this is the part of the hoop that is actually brand new for me because I have never owned a hoop of this type before. This is a shackle setup for this hoop because this hoop has some holes in it, runs here, and then there are two right here. And why it has holes is so that you can attach these shackles directly, put it like this, directly onto the hoop.
Here's a close-up so you can see how this shackle works. So you've got the shackle and the pin. There are two sides to the shackle. One has grooves for the pin to screw into, one does not. You want to thread your pin in through the side that does not have grooves, and then use your Allen key to close it securely. If you need a little extra torque, you can turn your Allen key sideways and use the long part to really get it screwed in there nicely. So when I'm attaching my shackle to my hoop, it should look like this. I just put my shackle around the hoop. Again, I put the pin through the side with no grooves, the smooth side, and then I tighten it up with my Allen key. And if I am attaching a span set with the shackle, I put the span set inside the shackle, of course. It's pretty evident. It's pretty easy to figure out. And of course, always make sure that your shackle is fully closed before you use it.
So, why do we have these shackles? Because that gives me the option that I can either, let's unscrew it here, I can either put my shackle directly around my span set and then attach directly onto the hoop like this. And that is a very strong, safe, secure way to attach a span set with a shackle. Or, here's the really fun part. Because I have these two holes, where's the other one gone? There it is. I have these two holes that are spaced slightly wider than shoulder distance apart. I can do that twice. I'm doing it twice on the same span set, by the way, but you could do it. In fact, it's better to do it with two span sets. I just ordered one span set from them. But if you have two span sets, it's better to do a double point rig with two span sets, one on each shackle. Like that, I have a nice double point setup. What I really like about this kind of hoop, and I think it's a great option, is that you can use it with or without the shackles. So it gives you basically 2 hoops for the price of 1. You can also get hoops that do not have these holes, that are just what's called no point. It's just a circle of metal. There's also hoops that have tabs, like permanent welded tabs, 1 or 2 onto the metal. But I think that this is really kind of the most practical version. But I'm getting ahead of myself just a little bit because we've already got the span set on. And in fact, if you're going to leave your hoop untaped, this would be the deal. This is what you want. You're ready to go. You're ready to hook on your swivel and your carabiners and get in the air. But that is not what we're doing with this hoop, because I've got this beautiful lavender tape and I'm very excited to tape this hoop and give it a try like that. We are going to tape this girl, and to do that you have to know which direction to tape in. This is very important because if you don't tape in the correct direction, the tape is going to roll and be sticky and be uneven and not good for hands. So very important to tape in the correct direction. So I'm going to take the top of my hoop. So on this one, it's going to be where the holes are, where the 2 holes are. There's 2 holes here on this type of hoop so that you can put both shackles close together for a single point rig if you want. So the 2 holes are the part that go at the top. I'm going to start taping at the bottom and tape up only half of the hoop. Why? Because if I'm going around, see if I can hold her steady so I can demonstrate using both hands. I'm an acrobat, this is fine. I can totally do this. I'm going to use my head. I do this because if I'm going from the bottom to the top using my tape, then every time I pass around the hoop, my tape is going over the top of the previous layer of tape. That's what's going to keep you from having nasty rolls and gluey spots. So you always, always, always want to start at the bottom or just past the center of the hoop at the bottom. So you're going to overlap slightly on the bottom. Just past the center. We're going to tape all the way up this side. And then we're going to start over again. We're going to start just past the center and tape all the way up this side. I am going to cover my hole here in the hoop, and then I'm going to use some scissors just to reopen that little hole just to have it available to me. So let's do it.
This tape from Play Juggling did have a paper backing, which I wasn't used to, and it took me a few minutes to get used to unwrapping the paper as I wrapped the tape around the hoop. But after a few wraps, I got used to it and it became a lot easier and faster. Okay, I'm reaching the top here, and normally I would continue the tape all the way around and overlap the tape in the center, but for this, because of the holes, I think I'm going to just finish off my tape right next to the holes. So I'm going to get as close as I can, and then I'm going to do, that was covering the hole just a little, I'm going to do just a couple of wraps in the same place. I do that extra couple of wraps because if this tape starts to come off, then I have a little bit extra I can cut off, and I still have the tape covering the hoop up here. And then I'm going to, can I tear this? Oh yeah, I can tear it, nice. I'm just gonna finish, make sure it's nice and secure. And I'm half done. Now it's time to start down there and cross over just slightly farther than the center and come all the way up this side. All right, she's all taped up. I love the color of this tape. It's so pretty, the lavender. I've never done lavender before on a hoop, so that's very cool. I will also say that this tape feels so soft.
I'm not sure how it's creating this much padding, but it really feels like my hoop is noticeably softer, especially down here where I did 2 layers for the crossover at the bottom. And so I'm very interested to see if I will still be able to feel that noticeably when I'm in the air on this hoop, because that could be a really great solution for moves that are very bruisey, bashing your body into the hoop. I'm very curious to see how this is going to feel in the air. So let's flash forward to the studio where I'm going to hang this one up, and we're going to try out a little combo for you guys to use to test your equipment while I test out this hoop.
All right, here's a fun and pretty simple little combo that's great for testing a new hoop. And I'm going to talk you through it in slow motion first, and then we'll watch it in real time so you can see how it all looks put together. So I'm starting with a spin. I'm doing a double stag and hooking one elbow onto the bottom of the hoop. From there, I can take my other hand, reach around, grab my back foot from the outside, and I've got this great double stag Delilah shape. Next, I'm taking that free arm back up and walking my hands up the hoop into a carousel roll. By the way, there are tutorials for all of these moves on my channel if there's anything that's new for you or you need a refresher for. Next, I'm doing this little half split as I get ready to put my leg through the center of the hoop and come to a seated position. Remember, anytime you're sitting in the hoop, to let your head drop back as you sit up to make everything look beautiful and dramatic. Then I'm going to hook both elbows on the top of the hoop, walk my hips slightly forward so they're a little bit out the front of the hoop, and do these beautiful walks with my legs. I lift up with my shoulders and sit myself back down in the center of the hoop. And from there, I can lean out of my hoop into a nice mermaid. Make sure that you're leaning your shoulders towards the direction you're spinning. If you're leaning your shoulders in the opposite direction from the direction you're spinning, you're going to kill your spin. I'm sitting back up. And now I'm going to take the span set because we want to test out our new span set as well. I'm going to place one foot on the center of the hoop and then join it with the other foot, lift up my hips, and come into this beautiful standing position. Make sure to drop your head back so that you have a nice long line with your whole body. Let's add in something just a little bit more intermediate. I'm taking my leg to the outside of the span set and then hooking my knee around the span set, grabbing the top of my ankle, and I can lean back in this figure 4 variation. I'm also making sure to keep my other foot well secured on the hoop until I can reach back with my hand, take my hoop in my hand, so I'm controlling the hoop so it doesn't smack me, and take my foot off into this really nice little layout position. You can play with either bending both knees or stretching one knee. And then finally, I'm going to release the hoop and carefully sit up, grab the span set, place my foot back on the bottom of the hoop, and then release my leg that was hooked on the span set, coming down, sitting down with my hips, sliding my hands slightly down the span set, and finally I can come back into the center of the hoop. I'm controlling the hoop with my foot as I bring it towards me and let myself sit back down in the center again. Now let's watch that in real time so you guys can see how it actually looks. And I did specifically choose a lot of these moves because they tested something that I wanted to test about this hoop and this span set setup since it's new for me from this company. First, I put an elbow hang in because I wanted to see if it was rough on my elbows with the texture of the tape, and it actually felt really good. It was actually a very comfortable level of friction for me. So I'm really impressed with this tape, to be honest. I really, really like it. And then I did elbows again just to, double check that in there. I also just love this move. It's really pretty and a really nice kind of rest move. With the mermaid, I'm doing a shape that is really wide, and as we know, if you're doing a wide shape, it slows you down. So I wanted to see if the hoop would keep spinning while I was doing a wide shape, and it did. So good weight on that hoop for it to be able to keep it spin. And then I wanted to test the span set, make sure it wasn't too rough on my hands, make sure that my knee felt okay being hooked around the span set and shackle combo. And to be honest, I could not feel the shackle at all with my knee hooked around it. It was actually more comfortable than having the span set choked onto the hoop. So I am really sold on this shackle deal. It's actually a really great setup. And then finally with this move, I wanted to check how sliding down my hands on the span set felt. I wanted to make sure it wasn't burning my hands too much, and it felt fine, no burns.
Well, I guess the last thing for me to do on this video is to give my review of the play juggling hoop setup, because I've now tested it, I've tried it in the air, and I have a strong opinion, and my strong opinion is that I really, really like it. I am so sold on this tape. Let me tell you, I intentionally put some things in my choreography that were sliding up and down the hoop with my hands and my elbows, and just to see if the tape would give me a little burn. No burns. It was actually very, very comfortable when I slid on the tape, which a lot of tapes are not. It was also noticeably cushier than the tape that I normally use, and it had a great grip texture, so I didn't feel like I needed to put rosin on my hands or anything. I felt like I could really hold the tape very well, which was exactly what I wanted. It's such a nice like medium between being slippery enough not to burn me and textured enough to be able to hold well. I also really like the hoop itself because, like I said, it's lightweight enough to easily transport when I need to go different places to perform or to train, but also it spun really well. It really held its spin. I was very happy with that. And the shackle, I'm obsessed, because I intentionally, again, I actually planned my choreography to test it. I intentionally put a part where I have to wrap my knee around the shackle to see if I could feel it, to see if it would poke me and be uncomfortable. I could not tell it was there. Honestly, I'm even a little bit bruised on this knee right now. So like if it was uncomfortable at all, I would be feeling it, and I cannot feel it. I'm gonna stick with this. I was thinking that maybe I would take the shackle off after I film the video and just go to my normal setup, but actually I'm just gonna leave it on because I really, really like it. The only complaint that I could have is that just right in the middle of the hoop, I have a couple of places where the tape is rolling just a little bit, but again, that could be where that I crossed over the tape too much when I was taping it, so that could be me. It's just not the stickiest tape, but for the texture, I'm happy to put up with a couple little rolls. Anyway, play juggling. Thank you for sending me this to test because I really love it and I'm going to keep using it. So good job, play juggling. If you guys want to check out their products, by the way, I'm going to put a link to their website down in the description of this video. But I think that's all that's left for me to do is to say a big thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please write a comment telling me what you enjoyed about it so I know to do that for future videos. Or if you have a question that I didn't answer in this video, also put that in the comments. And please do subscribe because that is very helpful and very free. So I appreciate so much when you guys subscribe and follow this channel. And also keep your eyes open because I did recently a live online stretch class right here on the channel, and I'm going to be doing that again. So if you want to stretch with me, if you want to work on your flexibility and your fitness, come and join. It is not charged. It's a pay what you can class. So like if you can pay $1, awesome. If you can pay $10, also awesome. Just, you know, whatever your budget allows. I just want it to be accessible for everyone. So I will be doing another one of those soon. I'm gonna announce that pretty soon, so keep an eye on this channel. And until then, I will see you guys next time for some more aerial hoop fun. See you later.